I think it's gambling, and Islam does not accept in principle anything which is based on the idea of gambling, or which is based on the principle of gambling. So lottery also causes a huge waste of public money, and also greed for having much more than you can earn. So in fact it is, in a manner of speaking, it obstructs the economic growth in a sense, because people, once they get this attitude, once they acquire this attitude of getting quick, easy money, that means that by that much their efforts will be less directed in the economic use, and in which you can earn money, of course, but with patience. So I think gambling should be condemned in all its forms. And whenever you call it in the name of charity, now tell me, what will reward the people expect from God who do charity, who do gambling not for the sake of charity, for the sake of helping people, but do it for the sake of earning quick money? While if all these people, instead of spend something in the cause of gambling, had collected that to help poor mankind, the outcome would be much greater, because a lot of the money which is put into lottery goes to the governments or intermediaries in so many ways. What is left for charity is a small amount of all that has been paid in. So if really they are charity-minded people, why don't they collect charity without any personal greed involved in the matter? I can challenge the governments in this sense, that they should just start collecting money for the charity, and the amount they will draw would be very small as compared to the amount they draw through lotteries. So God will not be interested in such charities. What is the purpose of this charity?
Question from Zulekha Hassan from Purley.
From Burley?
Purley.
Yes.
Can you pray when you have got nail polish on your hands?
Yes. Of course you can pray. And you can pray when you have lipsticks and rouge and everything. No problem. It's all a very small-minded, it is all a small-mindedness on the part of religious leaders who mislead women to these things, and it's all stupid. What Islam advises is cleanliness. And if you apply nail polish after cleaning your hands, they will add an extra cover to the nails. And whenever you wash your hands, the nails are also washed at the same time. So please don't pay regard to such advices. Thank you.
He has another question. Can Hazur please explain about the hijab, the veil?
Well, hijab has been used differently at different times throughout religious history. And hijab, in fact, means a cover, not in the sense of a cover which covers you all through the face, but a sort of cover which helps your chastity to be preserved. That is the spirit of hijab, to guard you against wayward eyes. So if you follow this hijab, this can be done in so many ways. If you are decently dressed, not only that, but if you have that dignity of personality in which men's eyes are rebutted, They cannot look at you with any greed in them, because the faces of such chaste women rebut those greedy looks, and man does not cast his eyes wrongly on such women's faces. If they are covered properly and have that look of dignity about them, I think that is the purpose of the veil, which is very well served in this. But because there are different societies, and because in different societies the greed of men is increasing with the passage of time, so when they say part of the face unveiled, then they try to devour it with their eyes. So in such countries where this happens, it is better if the faces are covered as best as possible. But the ideal spirit of covering your face or the veil has already been described by me, and this should be practiced differently in different situations.
This question is from Mr. Chiaro from Oxford. He's asked two questions which are related.
Yes.
Has Africa and Africans a place in the world, in world politics, as an equal player with the rest of the races? And the second question...
African players?
Have a place in the world.
Yes.
A place in world politics
yes.
as an equal player with the rest of the races.
Yes.
And also, would the Africans fare better if they had their own indigenous religion, which could embrace their cultures and traditions?
You see, to follow religion is not the purpose. Turning to the second part of your question. To follow God and gain godly habits is the purpose of all religion. So unfortunately, the traditional African religions, as you find them today, do not serve this purpose. They can give you an aura, false aura of spirituality by beating drums and following some traditions, etc., and you think that you are gaining something, but actually no change is noticed by the rest of the world among such religious people. As barbarous to their own African brothers as they used to be before. So I don't advise you to fall back to these traditional religions. As far as the African place in the world society is concerned, the problem is that it is not a question which applies only to Africa. It is a worldwide question, a question of worldwide application. Today we find in the world one principle working, that might is right. And the politics of every weak country is subjected to this. Mighty has proved itself to be right, and he is always considered right when he conquers. So unless there is a change brought about in the attitude of the mighty people, despite possessing might, if they can at the same time be humane in their attitudes, then a big change can be brought about. But unfortunately, I think it's a wishful thinking. Such things have not happened and will not happen. Only, as I have suggested earlier, a world catastrophe can bring them back to their senses and no more.
Mr. Adila Ahmed Tajik from Luton.
Yes, from Luton.
Yes. What is Islam's view of Jesus Christ?
Islam considers all religious leaders or the founders of all religion to be God's representatives and not God themselves. Jesus being no exception. So we count Jesus Christ among the holiest of holy prophets and no more. We don't consider him to be Son of God or in any sense an eternal existence, enjoying eternal existence with God.